Well, I've always had a big head. I always thought I was a leader. And when I got into micro, it made me realize you had to compromise with people. You couldn't always have it your way, your way. And when I was young, I was really bossy. And it made me realize that I could, to tone it down, like, to compromise with people, to ask them nicely to do certain things, not just, I'm your boss, you have to do it. Because when I got a big head when I found out I was the Vice President of Human Resources, because I thought, hey, hire and fire people. But then I realized that it's not like that. It's just, you have to compromise with people and just go at their pace and try to help them out. That's what really a leader is about.
Before I got to 6th grade and became the president of the IRS, I was pretty much laid back, and I just went with what everybody else did, and I didn't really want to go off on my own to see what would happen. But like, that was the way I was in like 4th and 5th grade. But when I got to 6th grade, like, all of a sudden I was president of the IRS, and I had all these other responsibilities on my shoulders, and like, it just showed me that I didn't necessarily have to be a follower, that I could always be a leader, and that just as long as I took it my own way, that it would be okay.
Because you're in the MicroSociety community, it makes you realize what's going on in the El Paso community. You do want to know things like what's going on in the mayor, what's going on in your school district or other school districts. You get interested in. I found myself watching the news more and seeing what's going on in the world more.
We had to learn how to fill out applications. We had to learn different things about, a role it takes to be in a certain company. Different companies take different roles in some situations, as in if you're in a bank company dealing with money, you have to know how to do mathematics, multiplication, division. And as in different companies, as in jewelry companies, you have to learn how to be creative, take your own role and, do things in that way. So I think that'll really help me.
In the summer, I'll be applying for jobs. I've learned that you don't always get everything that you want. There's other people that are more qualified for the job, and there's some things that you just don't work out with, and you have to take the fear of rejection, and maybe sometimes not getting your exact job that you want, and having somebody else better take your job.
In high school, there's the drugs and the gangs and the alcohol and the parties and all things that the micro helped you see that you should stay away from. The micro made you realize that there's a real world out there.
Once you hit high school level, you don't have time to make up for your mistakes. You kind of try to surround yourself with people that are are gonna be a positive influence on your life.
In 6th grade, that's when I really changed, because I had no choice. In a way I did have a choice, but because I was chief of the CrimeStoppers, so I had to set a role for everybody else. So I had to start changing, and I had to hang out with different people.
In our real society, it's male-dominated, and I would like to change that. And the MicroSociety has taught me that I can do anything I want, especially since I'm female.
You don't see very many female political powers other than the Queen of England. Like, you don't see like a woman that's a legislator. That's a legislative person, like in the House of Representatives or anything. You never really see.
Before I would like go inside and say hi to my mom, but I couldn't. We would we'd talk for a while, but now that I was in MicroSociety, I could talk to her about when we had an update. I could tell her, oh look, I did this. It was this happened, and we can actually sit down and we can actually, like she said, hold a conversation.
Definitely responsibility and integrity, and independence. Because you have to be a leader, and you can't be led by your employees. You have to show them the model for what's right and what's wrong. Because if not, your company will just be chaotic. The difference between micro and a real election is just the population. We basically run it the same way with ballots, and we have campaigns and everything. Different students run with different qualifications. And the only comparison that I have to make is just that it's a little more complex in the real society.
I think that the micro is fair, because like in the real world you can't have female presidents, and here you could be anything you want to be.
I think that our government, like the U.S. government, is a little bit more diverse in the part that they have two parties or more sometimes in the elections, and here it's just and here at Sageland it's just people's word against another. So here I think it's a little bit more fair because you have the whole school, and like there's no real party, but in the real world, like not very. I don't think there's any Republicans that like vote for Democrats or anything like that. So you have the whole population here just going on the candidate's word.
Micro just helped me go a step farther, like not just be a regular employee, maybe go to vice president and in the future be the president of my own company or run my own company.
Definitely for me, first of all, I decided on being a neurologist, but since being in micro and since having the presidency, I've wanted to be a politician.
Going through middle school and through high school, it's taught me a lot of different things. It's taught me responsibility, organization, and how to keep my head focused and to take criticism, and it's just helped mature. And as I see a lot of the other kids grow up learning from the micro, as I did, it's a wonderful experience, and it's an excellent program to see how different the kids from Sageland are to different kids that you interact with at high school level or at middle school level, and to see how advanced you are and how ahead you are from other kids because you were taught so many different things on how to write checks, how to work, and just how to be more responsible and to make your own decisions.
To have goals and not limits.
I want to attend law school at Notre Dame because I know I can get there.
Watch out, guys, here we come.